Hello there, Commanders. This is some kind of entity, also known as Commander Kaminochikara 87. Now I just made a video on basically my Explorer Anaconda, and well, considering I was already doing those kind of loadout videos, I wanted to do another video on my well, I guess you can call it a battle cutter. And well, I don't have, it's not completely finished, but I would say I'll only need like just a couple of things with the hull. But yeah, that's gonna take me about 160 mil, so that is going to take a while. But yeah, let's get into it. My hardpoints. First I have 2D beam lasers. This used to be also a beam laser, but you'll find out pretty soon that this ship doesn't have as much juice as the Anaconda and the Corvette has. So you're gonna have to you know, see what basically goes. As you can see, I have a 4A multi-cannon. If you put basically a 4A beam laser on it, you're gonna run out of juice before you know it. Now what I do is basically I have beam lasers on one side, my multi-cannons on the other side. I'm talking about the fire groups. That at least once I run out of juice, I can still use the multi-cannons. And well, the multi-cannons, they do quite a lot of damage, especially after the shields are gone. And well, the shields go pretty fast if you aim it right and know basically when to let go of the fire groups. But yeah, that's basically all I have. Multi-cannons and beam lasers. I have 3 2F multi-cannons. By the way, everything is gimbaled. You could go with fixed if you want to, or turreted, but I just like to have gimbaled everything basically. It does suck when they use shafts, but on the other hand, it does give me a little bit more time for my lasers to basically not overheat. And yeah, because that's all for the hardpoints. Utility mounts. A lot of shield boosters. I have 2 modified already. And I think I have some modified shield boosters stored, so I'll probably have to check that out. But yeah, I have a shaft launcher. I don't really use this as much as I should, because most of the time I actually forget that I have a shaft launcher on it. But it does come in handy. As you can see, more shield boosters, and point defense. You never know when someone has missiles or something, and these things might actually help you out, especially once your shield go. Now this is what I mean. I still need some bulkheads. Well, they're not even selling any. 8A power plant is modified to give me that little bit extra power. I think without it being modified, you'll get around 36 megajoules out of this. So basically, even if I didn't modify it, I would have enough power. So it doesn't really matter that much. You don't have to modify the power plant. I have 8C thrusters. Now the only reason I have 8C and not 8D, because as you can see, AD gives me more basically more light year jump, but the problem with this ship is that its pitch, I mean, when you're trying to turn, it turns so slow. And the 8A power plant is, well, it's around 100 and something million, so, or 50 million, I don't know. All I remember is I did not have enough at the time for it. So I wouldn't go with a cheap thruster, or else the smaller ships, they're basically gonna run circles around you. I have a 7A frameshift drive, which you're gonna need on the ship because the jump range isn't that great, and I have a modified frameshift drive. I think if you don't modify it, you'll get around maybe 17-18 light years with this build, and that's kind of sucky. Now 24 light years isn't even that much, but it's passable, and that's basically what this thing has over the Corvette. It has a better frame shift. I mean, if you look at the jump range, it sit right in between the Corvette and the Anaconda. The Anaconda is better, but then again, the Anaconda is a multi-purpose ship. This Well, this is kind of a multi-purpose, but not as much as the Anaconda is. You know, the Corvette, as far as I know, I don't own one yet, but as far as I've seen, the Corvette is a designated battleship. Well, 7D life support, you're not really gonna need that much more. You could go, you know, if you really only going into battles and all that, and you're not the type to run away, because the way I've built this is basically kind of like you use the clipper. Once your shields start going down, you take off and run, because this ship is faster than most quick ships. You know, you go, you get out, perhaps pop a not a shield booster, a shield bank, get your shield back up, and then you come back in. 7A power distributor, you are going to need this, you know, to get the best effect out of your weaponry and to not overheat too much. 7D sensors, now you could go with better sensors so you can find, especially if you're bounty hunting, you can find the ships easier, but as you can see, it does take away your jump range. And I do want to have a decent jump range. Have an extra fuel tank, that way I won't run out of fuel, but I might actually change this up, you know, because as you can see, it's still 1 light year difference. 5D hauler reinforcement package and a 5A shield bank. Thing is, this is what the cutter has over the Anaconda, and I think also over the cutter. It has 2 military compartments. Well, I'm sure that the Anaconda has 1, I'm not sure about the Corvette. So yeah, you could basically put a whole reinforcement package and a 5A shield bank here, meaning you're gonna have more space with your optional internals. I have a 8C by weave shield generator, which basically means that it doesn't have as much strength as the normal 8C shield, but it does recharge quicker. And well, I'll be honest, with this ship, you're gonna need a shield that recharges quick enough, you know, for when you're like jumping out, that you can get back in on time to still get that bounty, you know. So I went with the 8C. An 8A would also be a good choice. You'll get like 1900 megajoules of shield, but I decided to go with the bi-wave shield. An 8C fuel scoop, that's basically more than enough. You can get like over 1,000. I think it maxed out at 1,060 or something. So basically you don't even have to stay at the store for that long. You do like simple trip around the sun and you'll be good to go. I have a cargo rack. You could go with less, but you never know when you might need something. I also like to do some missions that require a cargo rack, so I have the 46. I have a fighter hangar. Now this is not a must, but it is going to help you quite a lot, especially with ships that are faster than you are. Because like I said, this ship turns slow, you know. So basically ships like a Cobra, even an Asp, if they're good, especially if they're players, if they know what they're doing, they're gonna be running circles around you. You know, if you have a fighter bay, you might distract them that long enough, you know, to do some actual damage. Because if like a Cobra or one of those quick ships is actually in front of me and I get, you know, more than 1 second worth of damage in, their shields are gone. And most people, once their shields are gone, they run like hell, you know. And I'll have my fighter to, not only will I have my fighter to go after them, people when they run, usually they run in a straight line. And if I can turn quick enough, I might actually do some damage before you can get away. But still, a fighter bay, it's handy, but you don't need it. But it's handy. Yeah, as you can see, I have another fuel tank. Now I might actually change this up. The reason I had put in another fuel tank was because I was traveling quite a lot to get certain modules. But I might actually change this up because this will increase my jump range. With 1 light year, it's not even that much actually. Yeah, it's not enough. I have a planetary vehicle hangar. Now if you're just going to use it only for battle, you could actually skip this. But you never know. Sometimes you see a nice sight, you know, you jump into basically somewhere close to a nebula. You like to just get on a planet and enjoy the view. That's the only reason that I have it here. But basically you wouldn't really need it if you're just using this for as a battleship. Well, I have a docking computer just to make things a little bit easier, but most of the time I only use a docking computer once I'm already through the slots, because these computers sometimes, I don't know, they get a brain fart, and I don't know, they just fail, basically, just fail. I have an advanced discovery scanner just so that I don't have to look for every kind of, well, look for stuff, especially if I'm doing a mission. It makes things a lot easier. A detailed surface scanner, now you're not really going to need this, but it can be handy, you know. You might jump into a system where there's an Earth-like planet or high metal content planet, or you're gonna want to scan that, especially if you need that extra little bit of money. But it's not necessary, basically. I mean, if there's something else you want to put, like automatic fuel maintenance system, or well, you wouldn't need to put another cargo rack, but you know what I'm trying to say. Perhaps a FSD interdictor, that would actually be quite a good choice, especially when bounty hunting or chasing pirate lords. An FSD interdictor would be pretty good. So yeah, I might actually switch it up. Not now, but what you could also put in is another shield cell bank. You know, especially because if you're in the heat of a battle, especially in hazardous, not conflict zones, resource sites, you might want to take an extra shield bank with you. And perhaps even put in heatsink, because these things do heat you up like crazy. But if you have an 8A power plant, it will run a bit better, and well, for this build you are going to need a 8A power plant or a like heavily modified 8B. Maybe 8C would do, because you can get quite a lot out of the 8C if you modify it, but still, I'm simply going with the 8A because that will help with your heat sufficiency. Yeah, this was where we were. Guess that is it. This is her, the Ostara, my battleship. Now I will give you some advice. The cutter, a lot of people say that the cutter is better at combat, and well, it kind of is, you know, it kind of is. Just like the Anaconda, it has more juice than the cutter, and they turn a lot faster than the cutter. But if you use the cutter correctly, you could, well, not easily of course, but you could take down a Corvette even though it has more juice, because the cutter is faster, quite a lot faster actually. And like I said, if you use it for hit and run, you know, jump away, use a shield cell, bang, come back in, do damage, jump off, you know. And also something that's also very important, a lot of people, once someone is like running circles around them and staying behind them, they basically stay at one place and just keep doing circles and don't realize that that's not working. Sometimes when you're not able to hit your opponent, you want to boost out of there as quick as possible. Not only will that surprise most players, and well, NPCs, I guess you can't really surprise NPCs like that, but not only that, you will be able to make a turn before they're close enough and get, even if it's a little bit of damage. And then as soon as they pass you, you boost off again in the opposite direction. And that way you might they won't be able to do damage because they won't be able to stay behind you. Now there are ships that are a lot faster, but the thing is, as soon as you do some damage, or basically get them into your view for a little bit, they're not going to survive for very long. I mean, I'll be honest, you have to be a very bad captain if you're defeated by like a I don't know, a Cobra or something. Oh, that Cobra must have like modified beams or something like that, but a normal small ship should not be able to beat you. Now yeah, you have talented captains, but if you know how to fight, when to run, when to turn, because you don't always turn, sometimes you have to boost away first while the other guy is turning, and then you basically put your throttle down at 0 and then you make that turn. 9 out of 10 times you'll be able to turn before the other guy is even close to you. But yeah, that being said, I guess I would say that the Corvette is the better battleship. You know, when you're looking at straight up firepower. Same goes for the Anaconda, and that's simply because of this. The power distributor. If I'm correct, the Anaconda and the Corvette can have a 8A power distributor, which means they don't overheat as fast and they have more juice to shoot. And I don't really understand why they didn't give this ship a 8A power distributor. Oh well, you can't have it all. But yeah, that is it. The Astora, my new battleship. Guess we'll see how long I will be using this, because I'll be honest, I had an easier time with the Anaconda. But it's not that I'm having a bad time with the Corvette. It's just, it's a different way of fighting basically. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say for today. Stay awesome, stay safe, most importantly, stay yourself.